Hi everyone, sorry for the delay in getting the video up this week. I have been and continue to be a little ill, so I apologize for that. Apologize for no video of me. That's probably better for you guys. Um, so welcome to our week 2 summary. I'll try and keep this brief um, this week. I apologize for that as well, but just want to get through and get you some information. So this past week, we did talk a bit about the environmental analysis, very important. And keep in mind that this class we're talking about strategic planning, but it's strategic planning and marketing. So environmental analysis is crucial to both, and strategic planning it is really it's a marketing um, element. Marketing is a lot of people think of marketing as advertising or, um, put the big billboards we see along the side of 376 when we're rolling into RMU. For those of you that come to campus ever, when you see the giant billboards for UPMC or Allegheny Health Network, but that's not really really a lot of marketing has to do with market research, and it's really a lot of it is rooted in analyzing the environment. And so it's really an important part of strategic planning and marketing overall. So understanding that environmental analysis, how to kind of examine the environment surrounding you, internal environment, external environment. And we're going to look at it a bit more this week as well, this service area competitor analysis, to get a feel for that overall um, what's going on around me, and understand how that works and how that impacts your organization. In our discussion this week, we talked about changes in the environment over time, and the purpose of that was not necessarily to wax poetic about the changes in healthcare, because we do that all the time. And I had to chuckle. I know that I work across the hall from Dr. Hampy, and I hear her say at least 4 or 5 times a week, the only thing constant in healthcare is change. And I saw almost all of you say that in your papers and your discussions. So I know that she's had a great influence on you. But it's true. I mean, there's nothing that's not true about that. And and what's so impactful about that statement, for purposes of last week's work and this week's work as well, is that because there's nothing that's constant but change, um, is the reason that we have to do environmental analysis. We need to be constantly looking at our environment to make sure that we are staying on top of those changes, and see how they're impacting our strategies, how are they impacting our marketing, and how are we going to react to them. What has changed? How do we change our strategic plan? How do we change our operations, etc.? So I did have to notice how that small statement had really impacted your group going forward. So and it is incredibly true. So nothing not true there. We also did stakeholder maps last week. I haven't taken a look at them yet. I spent most of yesterday laying on the couch. So I haven't had an opportunity to look at them. They really were meant to just be the opportunity for you guys to do a little environmental analysis. Take an organization, be it one that you work for, one that you're familiar with, and just think about, okay, if I'm a hospital or if I'm a physician practice or a whatever, what types of organizations might impact me? I know I talked with a few of you. You'll find I'm pretty flexible, so don't fret about assignments. If you have questions, ask me. I'm not looking for high in-depth analysis. if you don't have access to information, we can certainly work out something. What I was really looking for is some critical thought around, well, if I'm a hospital, who's going to impact me? Not necessarily every detail about the exact organizations or what the exact impact was going to be or those types of things. Just wanted a little bit of critical thought around environmental analysis. We also were looking at topic selection for our final projects, and I will certainly be getting feedback to everybody on those. So the key with those was that we were looking for something strategic in nature and not necessarily a process improvement project. So I know that I'm pretty sure that you just have come out of your quality class. So we want to make sure that we kind of make that shift from we're looking at putting together a strategic planning project. A business plan as opposed to a process improvement project. So that might be the advice that I have for you, depending on the topic, or I might be asking you to narrow down your topic if you have a very broad one. Or your topic might be fabulous, and I might not have to tell you to do anything to it. So feedback on those will be coming here shortly. Okay, so I apologize I didn't include quiz. Your quiz was way at the end of the grade book last week, and I didn't even see that you had a quiz last week. So apologize I didn't give you feedback on your quiz last week. So the one question, I did give everyone credit for this that did not get this question correct. Because I had one student mention it, and I thought, well, yeah, this is kind of a confusing. The answer was confusing, but I'll talk about it a little bit. So the following are tools used to perform an environmental analysis. And it listed out a ton of different tools. And the correct answer was all but E. And E is an online questionnaire. Now, the reason the online questionnaire was not specifically listed as a tool is because questionnaires can be used, but they were specifically noted as being used within the Delphi tool. And but as you can use all kinds of different things to do environmental analysis. If we're going solely by the textbook, which is obviously where our questions have come from, they did talk about a mailed questionnaire in the Delphi tool, so that's why it was not saying that E was correct. So that's why the correct answer was all but E. But you could most certainly use an online questionnaire of some sort to reach out to various aspects of your environment, be it internal environment, external environment, to get information from them. So I think that's a very confusing question, and I've given credit to everyone for that. That was question number 9. So you did get credit for that question. This question, which of the following is not true about scanning the external environment? So when it talks in the text about scanning the external environment, it gives us, and I haven't put all the answers up here, but it talks about all different aspects of scanning the environment. But the one thing that it does mention is that it's really like a gateway to the external world. I think it uses the word gate or window, something like that. But it's most definitely not a door. So what it is not, what is not true is that it's a door. And I just have to laugh because I remember when my son was young. He's 20 now. But when he was young, he would always stand between me and the television, and I would always tell him he made a better door than a window. So to think about the fact that this type of scan to the external environment is, door versus window, it's definitely not a door, because a door does not give us that view that we want. But a window or some type of a gate that we could see through to give us vision is definitely what we're looking for. So that's why door was incorrect. But the scan of the external environment is really going to give us that vision of what's going on out there, and hopefully give us that information that we can then see what changes are going on, and then we can apply that to our strategic plan. This one, in order to validate strategic assumptions, which of the following questions would not be appropriate? This one's kind of a, I don't much like trick questions. This was kind of a trick question. So it had many different questions listed. And so the one that was correct was, has the organization's performance been adversely affected by expected trends or old trends or issues in the healthcare environment? So this would not be an appropriate question. And the reason that is actually, and okay, I can use my cursor. This should be unexpected, and this should be new. So in the textbook, there is a list of questions. It's actually on page 68. There's a whole list of questions for validating strategic assumptions. This question appears there in a slightly different format. So it's the question that appears says, been adversely affected by unexpected trends or new trends or issues in the healthcare environment. So it's just a slightly different version of the same question. So that's kind of a trick question. I don't like it when they just alter a few words, but so that's why this is the correct answer. And all of the rest of the answers in that particular question were found in the listing. So they were all appropriate, but this one was not appropriate. But in general, for validation of strategic assumptions, you are going to want to think about all of these different questions. Has the organization's performance been adversely affected by various aspects? Is the strategy acceptable to stakeholders? Have there been demographic changes? Has the legislative or political environment been changed? So there's a multitude of things that we need to think about when we're making certain strategic assumptions. Really important to be sure that because we do need to make assumptions at times when we're doing creating strategy. We're not always going to have everything nailed down, so we do need to make assumptions at times. And these types of strategic thinking questions can help us to kind of validate those assumptions. So that's the end of our questions. If you did have any of the other quiz questions, everyone did really well in the quiz this week, so weren't too many questions missed. But if you did have a question on any of the others or on any of the material thus far, let me know. And I should be getting info back to you on your work for this week shortly. I do have to drive to Pittsburgh this afternoon, but I should be getting feedback to you on your work throughout the week. So look forward to seeing everybody in the discussion boards. Thanks so much.